So under statement of cash flow, we have three main activities, which are operating activities, investing activities, and financing activities. So in this particular video, we are only looking at operating activities. Okay. So under operating activities, we record all the cash receipts and cash payments, okay, that are related to the main function of the business. Okay, so under operating activities, we have inflows and we have outflows as well. So we start off with the inflows. Okay, so number one, receipts from customers. Can you see the star over here? I purposely put a star over here so that this is to remind you that in every operating activity section, there must be a receipts from customers. Okay, and under receipts from customers, okay, we have cash sales or cash that we have received for our service. And sometimes we have made some credit sales. Okay, when we make some credit sales, we must remember to collect the money from our debtors. So when we collect the money from our debtors, all the money that we have collected is also considered as receipts from customers. Okay, and lastly, receipts from other income. For example, let's say I receive some cash from rental income. Okay, so the cash that I receive from rental income is also considered as receipts from customers. Okay, so next will be interest received and dividend received. Interest received and dividend received can be classified as operating activities, and they also can be classified as investing activities. Okay, so for interest received and dividends received, if the question didn't mention anything, you can put them in operating activities or you can put them in investing activities. Okay, however, if the question did mention that interest received and dividend received is considered as day-to-day activities, if the question mentioned that these two are considered as day-to-day activities, it has to be in operating activities. So next will be the cash outflow for operating activities. So first of all, we have payment to suppliers and employees. Can you see a star over here? If I put a star over here, means that this particular item here is a must for operating activities. That means in the operating activity section, there must be a payment to suppliers and employees. Okay, so payments to suppliers and employees consists of number one, payments to inventory supplier. Okay, for example, if I buy inventory by cash, okay, for example, cash purchase, the amount of money that I paid to my supplier, I need to record it in payment to suppliers and employees. Next will be cash paid to creditors. Okay, let's say if I buy my inventory on credit and then I pay my creditor later, the amount of money that I paid to my creditor is considered as payments to suppliers of inventory as well. Okay, next will be the payments to suppliers of services used. Okay, which we will look at SOCI, other expenses part. Okay, we will look at what are the services that we have used throughout that year. Okay, sometimes we have paid some cash for electricity, we have paid some money for rental, we have paid some money for insurance and etc. Okay, all the amount, okay, all the cash that we have paid for the services that we have used, we have to record it under payments to suppliers and employees as well. Okay, next will be payments made to employees. For example, payments made to employees such as wages and salaries. If we pay employees salaries, okay, there is a cash outflow there. Okay, there is a cash outflow due to payment of wages and salaries. So we need to record it down in payments to suppliers and employees as well. Okay, so under payment to suppliers and employees, you must remember that you need to include all of these items. And lastly, income tax paid. If you notice that I put a star beside income tax paid, which means this is a must in under operating section. That means under operating section, you cannot miss this out. Okay, income tax paid have to be in operating section. Okay, so income tax paid is the amount of money that you have paid during that year for income tax. Okay, normally is equals to the balance brought down of your income tax payable for that particular year. Okay, but you have to read the question properly and see whether it's correct or not. Now finally, a summary of what you have learned just now. Okay, so under cash flow from operating activities, there are three things that you must have under cash flow from operating activities, which are receipts from customers, number one, payments to suppliers and employees, number 2, and number 3, income tax paid. These 3 items are compulsory, okay, and the rest of it, okay, you have to read the question properly to see whether you have it or not, okay. So interest paid can be in financing or operating. Interest received can be in investing or operating, okay. Dividends paid can be in financing or operating activities, and lastly, dividends received can be in investing or operating.